everybody? Welcome to the Wingin It podcast. Shadow Fox, how you doing, man?
Man, what's going on? Just hanging out. Dual stream.
Yep. We dual streaming tonight. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Hey, bring this to the States. I'm not, this gotta happen, man. And then also, as you see at the bottom, where's DK? Come on now. We playing right now. We
Look
playing.
at that. He's in Super Mario RPG. Be happy.
No, and he's chained up in the game.
like what the world?
Yo, got my man on the psycho ward. Like, come on, man. We're not doing this. We're not gonna keep disrespecting DK like this.
All right, Andre, how you doing, man?
I mean, I'm doing good because I'm here trolling, and hopefully it messes with Nintendo at some point.
I don't know why you did that, but
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
Yeah, for real. All right, so we got a lot of stuff going on. We in post not E3 territory. Basically, come on, man, can we just call it E3?
Might as well.
Just call it E3.
Well, no, because if you call it E3, then Jeff Keighley can't do a crip walk on the grave.
Bro, he is wilding. Here's the thing: it's okay to be happy for your stuff, but your stuff got to be good too.
Yep.
I don't think anybody. People need to stop lying to Jeff, man. I'm like, bro, your stuff is average at best. Stop.
Does he know? He doesn't know it's not. This is not an automatic W for him. It's more of a. I mean, Nintendo kind of got this ball rolling.
Yeah, you're not winning, bro.
It's sad because the ESA is one of the few industry standards for video gaming. So, like, ESA got to get some money somehow. I guess they'll continue.
Well, we're gonna get to
game
that
ratings.
We're gonna get to that in a minute because that is actually one of the topics that we're gonna bring up tonight. But first, before we do that. What's everybody playing? Jack.
Like I said, I just finished Ghost, and I just jumped back on God of War before I jump into AEW next week. So
yep.
That's gonna get put down again. It always gets started. Like I'm always get started, and then something shows up, and I just put it back down. So
I think that's what a lot of us. Andre, what about you, man? What you playing?
I'm still playing Tears of the Kingdom because I'm having a good time going through everything very thoroughly. Also jumped on Apex Legends just because I wanted to mess around to see what it was actually like. It is not good. That game sucks.
I could have told you that.
That game sucks.
Yeah, I gotta say.
I just wanted. I wanted to see. It's like low budget Fortnite.
Okay. I send all hate mail to @GI.
Hey,
look. It's not. Listen, whatever hate mail you want. I don't care. It's low budget Fortnite.
It's trash.
The jokes are worse. The gameplay sucks. And on top of that, it stalls every 5 seconds if you're paying attention. It stalls every 5 seconds because of that constant online connection. And I have a good connection. And I noticed the hiccup every 5 seconds while I'm moving. It was like, why are my inputs dropping? That's why.
We got to support that game because it's one of the few online games that
I ain't supporting.
It's not on the Nintendo platform, so we got.
I ain't supporting Jack squatting until they make a better game.
Exactly.
All right, Shadow man, what you playing?
Man, just Tears of the Kingdom. Here and there, I'll try to play Street Fighter 6, but yeah, I'm gonna blame Sony for this one. So, like, I really do not like that Sony is blocking all third-party controllers unless it's in an official licensed PS4 or PS5 controller. Like,
really?
They got to fix that. Yeah. May flash adapter, none of that stuff works. So, like, if I'm old school and I want to keep my old customized fight stick that I built, I can't, and I'm not spending $120 on a module upgrade. I refuse. It doesn't make any sense. So
I don't even think 8-bit those work with theirs. They work with their fight sticks work with Xbox, PC, and Switch, but they don't work with Sony.
You know what a cheaper solution is? Spending $60 and buying the Xbox version or the PC version, and then my fight stick will work. Yeah. So
I mean, you'd think they wouldn't do that, but
yep.
Yeah. Well,
and on top of that, it means I can play with more people. So if I open another, now I can play with more.
Yeah.
So only Sony. Only Sony.
How dare you talk about Sony, the saviors of gaming? Anyway,
as I represent.
Yeah. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, jump back into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I haven't finished Future Connected yet. I feel bad about that, but hey, I blame Tears of the Kingdom. I did jump into Astral Chain and Scarlet Nexus. Scarlet Nexus really should be on the Switch. I'm not even front about that.
Should have been, yeah.
It really should have been on the Switch. But I'm having fun playing it anyway. The anime is actually pretty good too. If you guys don't want to play the video game, they did make a full anime for it. And hey, it's actually pretty good. So you might want to check that out. Now, getting to the good stuff. First things first, the importance of trade shows or non-importance, depending on if you're Jeff Keighley or not.
Say crip walk on that grave.
Well, here's the thing. So yeah, E3, we knew E3 was pretty much Dunsky after Nintendo just pulled the Uno reverse in 2013.
All right.
Because at first everybody was hating on him, be like, look, they ain't got nothing to show and all this yada yada yada. To, hey man, why we can't? When the next direct coming out? Y'all got any more of them directs? It went from that to that in the space of like 6 months. So, but here's the thing. I don't ever hear anybody complain about Paris Game Show, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show. Yep. Nobody complains about them and be happy. They want them to show up. So my thing is, why is it only E3 that people was mad at? I don't get it. Because even PAX usually just shows more indie stuff than regular, console stuff. They usually show more indie stuff. They don't get that hate, but E3 gets the hate.
I think E3. I put E3 in that same category as like when you hate a company, you'll look directly at the face of the company. So, like for example, when people were mad at Nintendo, they went straight to Reggie, even though Reggie ain't got shit to do with what Nintendo got going on. It's just E3's the well-known out of the group. Like, yeah, we know Tokyo Game Show happens, but most people don't know when it happens or when it comes on. But E3's advertised as in that show, like it's that go-to. So I think that's why it gets the most hate, because people know about it. But if people were readily available to watch the Tokyo Game Show or all these other game shows that may have games they like, then yeah, I think they would get the same hate for not showing something that they want. But E3 is just more accessible.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Shadow?
With E3, it's dead. I mean, it was dead. Let's be fair. It was dead about 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was dead then. Yeah.
It was just struggling to stay around. They stopped it, they skipped a year, and then restarted it back. Then it became the whole, Keeley's gonna try to resurrect it kind of situation, and it just became, Keeley's show is here, but everybody else is like, nobody's trying to go to this. Nobody's trying to watch these events. That's the big thing too. This was another situation where all of gaming press would get together and they pay to go to these events or whatever to get this quote unquote exclusive footage so that they can go hawk to users as a subscription service for their site. And that doesn't matter anymore because one of the major players just said, we'll just live stream it all to you. And in addition to that, we'll do Nintendo Treehouse or whatever. And you get basically what the press was trying to sell to you. We're giving you all of it for free. And at one point they were like, hey, if you go to Best Buy or you go to Blockbuster back then at the time, hey, we've got demos there. So that was the thing too. It was the year, I forgot what it was, but it was Nintendo and Sony were doing it at the same time. Sony was doing it online, so you could go and play the God of War 3 demo real time. Like as soon as
that's smart,
like, hey, go download it right now and you can play it. And then Nintendo had like, hey, here's Mario Kart, go straight to Best Buy, whatever, you can play it right here. They were already kind of inching that way, but technology, like streaming technology, hadn't caught up yet. But as soon as the Nintendo Direct started catching fire in 2013, it was already going that way. So, and that was 2009, I think, was the God of War 3 demo. So it was already trying to head that way, and Sony was trying to do their own stuff. They had their own TV shows and stuff that they were trying to do to garner interest. So they were both trying to lead. They knew where this was going. So
right,
it costs to fly out there. It costs to lease space. It costs to do interviews because you also have to pay for that lease space between all the different the partners and whatnot, and all the different journalist spaces that you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
And being in 50 million places at one time, and then getting sick after you come back from all of that. So it was just way too much. And you're preparing these vertical slices for demos just for a publisher to for a journalist to come and trash it. Like, what's the point? Like, continue on developing the game that you want to. You keep an internal demo that you're going to pitch to whoever your publisher is going to be anyway, and use that as whatever you're going to get people to want to play or whatever for whatever extended period of time.
Right.
And somebody just put in my chat, they just said it became nothing but a CGI fest. Legend of Josh, welcome.
Yeah, very much.
And nobody wanted to see these early because it cost so much to build a vertical slice just for E3. So they're like, well, we'll just do a CGI trailer to get people hyped, to gen up buzz or whatever, so people are talking about our game. And then you start having stuff like, well, what I saw at E3 was nothing like the game when it came out, and and it got bad. It got so bad. Star Wars 1313 was the biggest bust with regards to like vaporware, and then in addition to that, Watch Dogs for sure.
Oh, Watch Dogs!
Watch Dogs
was
the worst. Yeah,
both times. Remember,
it was
the first one, and it was the Legion one.
Yeah, you got these radical expectations, and then you get in front of the controller, and you either get nothing because the game never showed up, or you get, wow, this still looks like a previous generation game. Like, why am I playing this this PS3 game on my 8th generation platform? So
right,
it's just one of those things, man. And I try to say this as much as possible. It's not about the technology. As much as they try to tell you that's what the technology is, it's the time it takes for a studio and staff to get all this stuff together to build a well-funded and well-supported project. If you notice, all the games that build up to and surpass the hype, they have a development list a mile long, or the game has been under development for 6+ years.
Right.
And now that that's becoming the standard, even for trash games, you can only expect that you're talking about a 10-year game now for something that's going to be worthwhile.
Which is wild.
Development costs skyrocket as talent and whatnot costs more, and because it is no longer like a group of developers that are really, really smart that are together that are building this game for $60,000 a year. That's not
right.
What ends up happening now is development talent is cheap because you can go all around the world. So you've got people that are doing this for $20K here, $30K there, but they're only on the project for 4 or 5 months, and then you hand it off to somebody else, and then it's a whole thing. So, and that's the part they don't talk about. So you end up with these games now at E3 and whatnot, and they have these massive, giant, sweeping vertical slices, or they talk about all these things they're going to add to a game after the fact, and they don't come to fruition. So,
basically, what you're telling me is when Nintendo started doing Treehouse Direct, they just screwed it up for everybody.
Oh yeah, they did. I mean, it was them doing directs in general kind of upset everything, because now you don't run the gaming press to get Nintendo news.
Right.
And now they also can't massage the industry and then say, well, we don't like dealing with y'all, so we're gonna bad talk y'all for a little bit until you give us the exclusive access that we want. That's no longer a thing anymore. So because Nintendo could just say, okay, well, screw you then. We'll just throw it out here to everybody. You know that bad thing you said about us? We'll just show why you're wrong. We'll just show the stuff.
Well, also that Treehouse Live did, like, because that was my favorite part of E3 for like the past 6 years. Treehouse Live, because they just sat you down, showed you the game real time being played while they interview the actual developer.
Right.
They actually talk about why this works, why they did this, and you would get stuff, and you sit there looking like, and people can get mad all they want to, but those Treehouse Lives were probably the most watched stuff at E3.
Oh, of course.
Especially like when Switch was coming out, and nobody knew like, okay, how this was going to work, and they were showing how those games were going to work and how they were going to play. And they ate it up.
And they were clocking the whole workday, like 8 hours of Nintendo Treehouse. They just there.
what was it? 2019. You had Astral Chain, which nobody knew nothing about.
Right.
Got a full 2-day Treehouse Live event. You had Marvel Ultimate Alliance got a Treehouse event. You had Smash Brothers. Yep. People got mad, but they asked for Smash Brothers to be the full thing, and they did. And they still got mad about it, but they did full Treehouse Live on that. Like, they would just do, and they were getting, like, a lot of these games were getting 30, 40 minutes a pop. They weren't getting, 15 minutes and then you go on. No, you were getting a full slice.
Yeah.
And, like, in Astral Chain's situation, I think that was a full hour. Both days that they went because nobody knew about the game. And then, because people still mad that they didn't see nothing on Bayonetta. And they was like, well, look at this.
Yep.
You don't now people are like, we were getting Astral Chain too. Like, bro. Can't win for losing.
You hate it until it worked.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just a note for people in the live chat. All the live chat, well, this is an experimentation, but so far from what I see, all the live chats are crossplay. So whoever is chatting and what we both see them in one giant feed here. So it may be a little bit of a delay, but if you make a comment, it will show up in this feed and we'll be able to read it. So
yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That is. There has never been a truer statement made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it's even to this day, it's that big. Because I remember I was reading an article when Breath of the Wild dropped, and people were like, some developers were mad because they were like, look, man, how we can't compete with that open world style. I'm like, what you gonna do now?
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, Tears of the Kingdom put a full on like creator, and like people are trying to break it and they can't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just build a calculator in the game. Like,
I feel like any other developer would have said, "Hey, we need the power of the PS5 or the Xbox to pull that off." Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely would have.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here like, dude, build a TIE fighter.
That's
crazy, functioning TIE fighter.
That's nuts.
So the reason why he did it, because he got tired of losing to the King Gleok. So he got mad, built him a TIE fighter. It's like, I'm not fighting you. This is.
Now keep in mind, y'all, the whole point of having this better hardware and everything is so you can have better potential of games. The games will be bigger. There'll be more things happening. It'll be more interactive and whatnot. And then you're like, okay, so this game on this more higher performing platform doesn't have half the things on this system that I can hold in my hand. So, and what kills me is you would figure that performance would degrade on certain things. I can go in handheld mode and I use Ultra Hand, and it's still quote unquote slowdown because you're going into effectively what happens is, and this happens in multiple games. So people are like, oh, the Switch can't handle blah blah blah. I'm like, no, go play Tomb Raider, because what's happening is now you're rendering the game twice because you're putting cell shading on top of everything. Right, and that's CPU intensive. There is no GPU shader for this. You have to put this on top of the CPU, and it's going to ask for main memory, and it's going to slow down. Right. So, but when you don't notice a difference between the slowdown, whether you have it in your hand using Ultra Hand and when you're playing on the TV screen, you could tell either A, they already built this game with handheld in mind, so it's just going to work the same or better when you play it on the TV screen, or they're just really good at managing this, to where whether you're playing on battery or not, you get the same experience.
Yep.
So that's up here. That has nothing to do with the development tool in front of you. So I just think that there's a lack of that. It definitely with third party companies, but with the other first party in general, if they can even make games, in the case of Microsoft, but you're talking about Sony, throw more horsepower at it. Like, I do not want to see a game come out for PS5 where those fans kick in all the way like they do. I really don't want to see that, because to me that means that y'all wasting resources at this point.
Well, that was the big fallacy for the last 3 generations. Oh, we need more power to see my vision. Then maybe you need to tone down your ambition a little bit.
Yeah.
And You can't make it. And I love how people are mad about the whole $70 situation, but I'm like, you want full voice acting, that has to be paid for. You don't want midis in there. You want full soundtracks, that has to be paid for.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even talking about the people that's developing the game yet. You got to pay for them too. Like, this ain't even your free to play games. The reason why they have so many microtransactions, because they're gonna get that money some kind of way. It's not free. It's just not free. Like, that's the illusion. Like, people have to pay for this stuff. So I've never understood that. I'm like, we should have been paying like $80, $90 for these games, but nobody wants to have that conversation.
I'm always like, because Wilson put in there the developer's vision. Like, by default, that is a fallacy, right? Because the developer doesn't make the rules. The publisher does. So when I hear the developer's vision, nah, motherfucker, somebody pitched this game to a publisher and they're like, hey, yeah, we could do that, but only with this amount of money and this amount of time.
Yeah.
Anytime a game is limited for any way, shape, or form, it all starts at the check. So who paid for what have you, and then go from there. Because if you got a game that, oh my God, well, we either had to throw more clock speed at it because we hadn't figured out how this algorithm works yet, but Sony is a first party Sony game or what have you, that's on Sony for saying, look, you know what, bro, this is gonna have to be 4 years instead of 5. We need that game out like yesterday. Yeah, like, well, we can't blah blah blah. Throw more clocks at it. It's fine. We'll put out an update tomorrow. And now all of a sudden you got a system firmware update to play this game, and why is it screaming at you?
Yep.
So that's just, it's just
fun times, right?
Yeah. It's and you figure that all somebody has to do is look at the same game that's multi-platform and see the same problems on PC.
Right.
As soon as you see the same problems on PC, all of the publisher and the PR excuses go out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my little 2-bit there, and I hate that there even has to be an explanation for that, because people should understand that these are computers, and the very first thing that you need to do is develop software for it. And if there's a problem with it executing, it's the code. Look at the code. It's the only thing that changes.
Mm-hmm.
The hardware is the same. Why would you blame the thing that's fixed? And even if you increase clocks on it, you still have memory leaks elsewhere in the system. So, hey, well, we fixed Ultra Hand. It's fast now, but then when you go into this town, it's slowed down. Like, obviously, it's the way the game was coded. Give them time to patch it or whatever, and then go from there. Or it wasn't built to do this thing in mind, so you overclocking it is not going to fix the problem. It's just going to cover it up.
Yeah,
which is why I think like that extra year and a half that they had on Tears of the Kingdom was them doing all the stuff with like
just tuning it up.
Yeah, because like, once again, there are people who are actively trying to break this thing and they can't do it. They are actively trying to, like no, that hasn't been done yet. But I've been seeing like some cool stuff that I've been wanting to try. So I am gonna build a Lionel Cage and put them in there and watch them die. I'm going to do that because I think that's hilarious.
Generally speaking, right? If you could think about it as an idea, 9 times out of 10 it works.
You can do it, yeah.
And which to me is amazing. Like, that has nothing to do with the power of the Switch. That has everything to do with no matter what platform this game would have came on, Nintendo knocked it out the fucking park in software.
Yep.
Well, I mean, and RJ, you have a very good point. And I've been saying this ever since I found out how much Darksiders 1 and 2 cost and how much Destiny cost. Those games should not cost that much.
Right.
They just shouldn't.
But Epic is free now. It's over 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and I mean, it goes back to like the arguments that's been going around this past week, to where, you know, the one article that came out and said Nintendo had no more big hitters after Tears of the Kingdom, right?
But then that wasn't true.
But then we go and we see this direct. But even though we know what type of a monster 2D Mario is, people don't classify that as a AAA game. And so that's where the question starts coming around. Like, even what Liam Robertson's post, he was like, then what the hell is AAA? And then what is impact? Because if we're talking about impact on the game, I can show, like, we can see there were a lot of people that watched like Smash Bros videos just because they like the videos. They just like the presentation. They like characters being presented for the first time. Like, oh, okay, Sora came. They don't play the game. They just like the video. But then you have people that legitimately go and buy Mario, like 30 plus million. So it's like, okay, what is the definition of AAA? And then even in the comments, I was like, AAA at this point for a lot of people is it has to have lifelike graphics and it's got to be 4K 60 or 4K.
Oh, and it has full
120.
voice acting.
And it has to have all of that because otherwise it's not AAA. And it was like, oh, is 2D Mario doesn't like it has a big budget. We don't know what the budget is on any of these games because you still have to take R&D into consideration, marketing into consideration. You have to take a lot of things into consideration to say, okay, this has a small budget. I don't know of a small budget game anymore. I'm pretty sure all of them are out of this world. But ultimately, I think that's the big problem when we talk about what is AAA gaming.
I mean, we found that out with Metroid Dread.
That's gaming media that try to push that bullshit because the whole goal is you want this sweeping vista and narrative fucking like so it shouldn't even have to be like that. AAA used to mean high quality.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like high quality, meaning that you have fun playing this game and whatever money you spent was worth it.
Yep.
Which means that wait for reviews.
Yep.
Or you take on your impression of it and then go from there. That's what AAA used to mean.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, well, now it's an excuse to make anything that looks like it was high budget visually speaking. You can call that AAA.
Correct. It's the same thing with next gen. That title that got skewed. Next gen is no longer what my next generation console is. It's the console that has the best graphics and what pushed the industry forward in
even
that
though
nature.
They don't.
Even though they don't.
And I get tired of hearing that myself. Like, you're not pushing the industry forward, just making things prettier.
You're not.
They can be prettier, but that doesn't improve anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just like my rants for the PS4 Pro when they first announced that, and I was all over that. I'm like, how are you making an update to a console that literally does nothing for the games other than make them prettier?
Yep.
We pushed the industry forward because it got more people to play.
Correct.
Switch pushed the industry. Fucking Animal Crossing pushed the industry forward because it got my wife to play a system she didn't want to play.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so, this is actually very true because I've always found it funny that us grown as adults playing that be getting pissed off about Animal Crossing and Pokemon and Splatoon, but you supposed to be a damn adult. That game ain't for you. Them game for them chilling.
Call it what you want to call it.
Chilling, and you're gonna be playing it.
I'm a big kid. That game is for me. Damn it.
I still find it funny to this day. Like the whole Pokemon Go situation. Like it's literally an odometer to get your children to go walk.
Yes.
That's literally what it is. Who is acting the fool?
Adults.
Yeah. Who trying to go get Mewtwo at Central Park at 1 a.m? Adults. Who telling their wife not to move because Pikachu is on her booty? Adults.
Who flew damn near across the country?
Yeah.
To go to an event to catch AR Pokemon. Like, really, like think about that for a minute. Like you took a whole flight.
Like what the? That was supposed to be for them. For them kids.
For them babies.
That is not for you. But no, it was funny, but it was actually a true thing because I remember that meme somebody put up of like they showed like who the real so they had like Call of Duty target audience. They had Call of Duty. They had like pictures of adults and people in college. Then they had what their real audience was. It was like Call of Duty and real people playing was people like middle school and elementary school. They had Pokemon, their target audience, elementary school, middle school, real audience, grown adults. Like, yeah, which is why Pokemon 8 doesn't fear Call of Duty. It will release in November.
Exactly.
They're like, because not only y'all gonna buy Call of Duty, y'all gonna buy us. Y'all, matter of fact, y'all gonna buy both versions and whatever console we decide to drop. Especially this console we decide to drop. Just saying. I still think to this day that is hilarious. And the whole Animal Crossing situation, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think anybody saw that coming like that. Not like that. Because I thought we were supposed to boycott that game. Remember that?
Yeah. But I mean, it kind of I think it had
We were
already
supposed to
been written
boycott,
in
but then
stone.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
I think people were going to jump on it anyway, but it didn't hurt that the cross promotion between that and Bethesda was kind of.
Oh, you talking about that fan art that went viral, and
Yeah,
then even
that was kind of good.
even
Look,
Bethesda was
I
like,
still
they
want
would
that
do
damn
it.
game to happen. I still want it.
Bethesda said they would do it because they thought it was funny.
Animal Crossing and Doom, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Look, the video's sitting on my channel. All they gotta do is go look at that. They got the blueprint.
And it
That's
has
all
to be
they
Isabel. It can't be the village. It has to be Isabel.
I'm still down with Halo.
No, you
I'll
gotta
do
have
Halo.
all of them. You gotta have Isabel, Villager, and Doom Guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta have all of them there. And on top of it, you gotta have Tom Nook selling you weapons at a half price. He's gotta rent them out to you for you to use them in the mission, and then at a certain a certain point, you can't use them for the rest of the mission.
Yeah, that makes
Because you ain't
sense.
got enough money
What up, Sandstorm?
for it.
Sandstorm in the chat.
Oh, the beard in the chat.
Yep.
That would be hilarious if they actually did. That's what I'm saying. Like, that would be funny, and I can see that actually. But you'd have to. To be fair, the Animal Crossing Doom thing would have to be more of a comedy because can't nobody take that serious. You can't take that serious.
Why would you? Like, it's
No.
Yeah. So next Smash Brothers, y'all know what it's gonna be.
And then you got to think of they already got the blueprint with a link between worlds with Ravio renting out weapons to you.
Basically. Yeah, basically. I mean, there is that. All right, so let's talk about something because we did bring up Xbox, and there was an article that came out this past week. Got this one off of PureXbox.com that they are doing price increases for Series X and Game Pass out in Europe. They didn't say anything about North America yet.
Yeah.
But Europe is getting price increases. I thought that was interesting.
I'm just surprised it took that long.
And I also thought it was interesting that they made it a point to say it's not related to the Activision Blizzard deal. I'm like, why would you say that?
It seems kind of specific. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems really like, okay, EU, this is what you're gonna do, like middle finger guy.
Basically. So it said that in the article it says that the price adjustments are intended to match local market conditions. I'm like, okay, that sounds very PR-y. But I'm sitting there like, yeah, like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because to me, I was like, the fact that they're doing it now and not when Sony did it was kind of weird to me.
That's
I
when
felt
they
like they were
should
gonna do it at the same time, but
right then they should have did it.
Yeah, because this was like, okay, y'all know y'all already getting destroyed because y'all had a presentation which I didn't think was bad, but going by our poll that we had on our community tab, a lot of people thought it was the 2024 2024 presentation.
I think Microsoft kind of had a chance to beat Sony at the punch too. As soon as those third-party publishers started saying, "Hey, we're going to move to $70 games," that's when Microsoft should be like, "Okay, $70 for Series X and then $60 for Series S." Like, there is, while I'm sure development is the same, right?
Yeah. I
don't think Microsoft loses as much money saying, "Hey, look, if it's a Series S game, it's $60. You get more butts and seats at that point for as far as buying the game and whatnot, and you can always upsell them $10 later if they want the Series X version." I think that could have been a momentum shift kind of situation. Probably not as big as the PS4 momentum shift with the whole "this is how you trade games." But it could have been something. It could have helped instead of, our games would be $70 too because third party says whatever whatever third party wants, third party gets.
Right.
So like they kind of didn't say anything about that, and that could have been a big time for them to say, "Hey, look, we are also a first party here, and we set our own rules," instead of trying to chase whatever the fuck Sony has going on. And I'm like, Sony went broke after the 7th generation. Why would you try to emulate anything that they're doing?
All right.
Like, PS4 was lightning in a bottle for them after the stuff that was happening with PS3, and literally it was because PS4 did what Switch did. It said no backwards compatibility, all about games. We're gonna streamline our OS. Like the OS is dank. There's barely anything on it until we do a whole bunch of updates to it. Like run game, go. And that was it for a very long time until all those updates started coming out a couple of years after the fact. It was just PS4 is a system to play games on, and that was Microsoft was all the look at the media, and we could look. It's called Xbox One because it's your one thing of entertainment, and Sony's like, we just need to sell games, bro, because that's how we recovered from PS3. We put out a whole bunch of games at the end of PS3 and recovered the life cycle.
Well, kinda. They kinda did, because the problem with Sony is instead of staying true to that, what they did in the 6th gen, they decided that, well, we're Sony. We can keep up with Microsoft. Y'all don't got Microsoft money, bro. And which they found out the hard way because they had to also sell off divisions because they couldn't keep up.
They overspent on sale, and all their partners are like, you're the biggest contributor to this project. We'll just kind of go elsewhere. And they're like, IBM, I thought you were with us. IBM is like, we in East Fishkill, New York, bro. We still make chips over here. We appreciate your money, but we're not gonna. The Cell project is dead to us. And Sony was left holding the bag. And
the other thing too about that is like, dude, they let all their mascots go. They let all of them go. Like, if y'all remember, PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 had mascots for days. And they let Square they had Square all to themselves. Nobody had Square outside of them. Like, it was to the point where, Nintendo only got Square Enix games because of the handheld. They weren't getting them because they weren't getting on their main. It was because of the handheld. And if they didn't have a handheld, they wouldn't have got that.
Yeah, it was just weird stuff like Crystal Chronicles. Like
Crystal Chronicles and
what are we doing?
The 358x2 and Chain of Memories. Like, they weren't getting the console game. No, they would get the handheld because for some reason Sony and handhelds did not go together. But
they had mind share to the point where people thought the PlayStation 2 was more technically capable than GameCube.
And it was not.
That's how bad the mindshare was at that point, because it was the machine to play the games.
Because if you wanted a good RPG, you had to go see
PS2.
You had to. Like, Nintendo had some good ones. They had Tales of Symphonia, the better version, even though it wasn't the complete version. I still got to
Kaitos and all that.
Batten Kaitos. They had Skyward, the best version of Skies of Arcadia.
Lost Kingdoms. I got to plug them from software.
Lost Kingdoms. I mean, like, they had good RPGs. It was just when you thought of RPGs, that list on PlayStation 2 blew everything else out the water. It just did. Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, all the Grandia, they just had it better. To be honest, like, and even though Nintendo had like the better Tales games, they still got Tales games. They got more than Nintendo did, which to me didn't make a bit of sense. But
because the Tales games started on the Super NES. I mean, did too. So. And
Yamaguchi didn't piss them off. He pissed off Square. Like, hey, look, I can't get mad at Square for being mad about, because Yamaguchi was wrong for that. He was wrong.
I think it was a cascading type situation, because once the Final Fantasy VII demo left from the Nintendo 64, and for those, go to Beta 64 and you can see that I've seen a video of this a long time ago, Final Fantasy VII on Nintendo 64. Once they just said, hey, look, this is going to be a PlayStation thing, that was so pivotal back then, because literally everybody in Japan jumped ship what Square did, because Square had influence. And I don't think people understood how big of a take that was. That changed a lot. Like, Sony might not be where they are right now had that not happened, because say what you will about EA, I don't think them having Madden would have gotten, because everybody had Madden then anyway. I don't think that would have gotten them out of there. I don't think GTA would have saved Sony as much as Final Fantasy VII did.
Right.
That was so
Yeah,
critical
nah,
then.
wouldn't.
Just
7
that.
and 8, 7, 8, and 9.
Yes,
Mhm.
because GTA 3 was still unknown. Like, we didn't know what that was going to be. Like, GTA 1 and 2 were okay, but GTA 3 was his first time in 3D. Like, nobody really trusted what 3D was then at the time. So it was still kind of a big gamble for them on PS2. And we're talking back still dealing with PS1. So
Yeah.
I don't think anything was more critical than Final Fantasy VII was for that platform. Anything could have happened. It could have been Final Fantasy VII would have stayed on Nintendo. It could have been even worse. It could have been a cross-gen or a cross-platform game at that point. So now you got a Final Fantasy 64 and a Final Fantasy 7 on PlayStation or whatnot, and the differences would have been striking. Like, you could from the demo you could tell that the N64 version looked way better. The only thing you were missing were the cutscenes or what have you, because obviously you can't do those unless you work with Angel Studios and put FMVs in or what have you. But that could have been anything. Anything like that could have changed the way history went with how Sony became successful, at least going into PS2. PS1 would have at least been profitable for them because so many other developers would have came over just because the licensing was so cheap back then. So they at least would have made a bunch of money off the B tier games that were coming over to PlayStation 1. But as far as them investing so much money into PS2, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for everybody following Square and coming over, Japanese developers coming over.
Because the only one that didn't was Bandai Namco. They didn't full force did.
Yep. They were kind of like half, well, we don't know.
No.
And never count out Nintendo. They make money.
And they made a lot of money too. So they did. Which yep.
Good. I was gonna say, I still hold the theory though that if Final Fantasy VII would have stayed with Nintendo, and if the N64 DD would have done well, that game would have had a cartridge base and then just a bunch of discs to play the data off of.
Yep. I mean, after Resident Evil 2, you didn't even need that. So, like,
yeah, because people forget about Resident Evil 2 actually working on the N64.
Yeah, all those videos could have been DivX, and that's it. It would have been a more expensive cartridge. So you're talking about an $80 or $90 cart, but you're not switching discs.
Yeah, and
you put one cartridge in, you're good.
And I'll tell you like this, because I had the N64 version. That all that stuff was still in there.
Yep.
So
I think there was only one cutscene that was missing.
Yeah, and to be fair, because I had my roommate in college had a PS1. I had the 64. It played better on the 64.
Ran way better on the 64.
Yeah, it just played better. And that's just the truth. That's the truth of the matter, as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I've always found that funny. The other thing too I found funny is like people getting like why don't people want to do demos? Like, I don't mind having a demo of a game to see if I want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, even the most simple games have demos. I think that was the only thing that Ouya got right. It was like, hey, if you bring a game here, you got to have a demo.
Yep.
I don't know what type of resources comes along with that, or if it just takes extra time. Honestly, I don't know. That side of the coin, but
it's a separate project. It almost is a separate project. So that was back what they were doing for E3 anyway. So.
Right, exactly. So I mean, at that point,
wouldn't you make a demo anyway, though?
I mean, you would, but for a demo for a retail game, it's almost like is choose your own adventure at that point, because you can release the demo whenever you want to versus. E3 is every year in June, and you got to have it by that time. There's no crunch, so you could just say, "Hey, look, this is our new game. We'll have a demo out in a couple of months or whatever." And then people just look forward to whenever that demo comes out, and then you make sure you're on the front of whatever storefront of whatever platform you're talking about. Say, "Hey, this demo is available," and people go check it out, and then you make a YouTube video to say, "Hey, it's also available. Go here to check it out." Versus E3, you're crowded. It's crowded because there's so many demos dropping at one time. They're all being played by press all at one time, and you don't get as many eyes as you would if you had a single date and social media.
So would you say like, I know there are demos that still come out, But would you say social media is kind of the reason why there are not that many, considering the fact that I could either A, put it on my own channel to show you the game, or either B, I can give it to some content creator and play it, and you'll listen to him or her and pick it up anyway.
I think it's a little bit of both. You got YouTubers getting codes, right?
Right.
But then in addition, you have like creating a vertical slice is expensive.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, you know what I could do is not do a demo at all and just have a shitload of YouTube videos until the game launches, and that's way cheaper than creating a specific build that we have to test. We got to do all this because we don't want to create a bad impression once we do release it. So it's just one of those situations where it's a little bit of both. I think it will only be effective for an untested new game, to be honest with you. If it's something in the same series, you're talking about a sequel or something that effect,
I wouldn't do it.
Unless the gameplay has changed drastically, it's probably not worth the time, to be honest with you. Just, it's a sequel to this game. This game sold well. Here's a bunch of YouTube videos. Here's the story. You get hooked. It launches, whatever.
Yep.
So when you start talking about the money aspect of it, it kind of makes sense why they don't make as many anymore. And games are getting more expensive. So
yeah, because I mean, when you look at it that way, to where you say, okay, I'm already a franchise you know about, I'm not dropping one. And then if I'm a brand new IP, I would love to, but what if this thing don't take off like it should?
And how much money did the publisher give you?
Yeah, right.
Okay, that makes sense. I've just always thought it was a good idea to like drop drop one, especially if you asking me to spend, like, for instance, the Spider-Man 2 situation. They somebody on Twitter asked Insomniac, are they going to have a demo available before the game release? And they were like, no. If you're asking me to pay $70, you might want to drop a demo, bro.
Game Pass,
Yeah.
If it go there, that's the new demo.
Yeah,
but they were saying, like, when I had Game Pass, that's what I was telling people. I'm like, look, if I had enough time, I would get my Game Pass. But I just, with work, I don't have enough time, so it's not
right.
It's not worth it for me.
It's not worth it for me. But once everything gets settled at work, I'm probably gonna jump back on it, because that was my rental service. I'm just being honest. That was my rental service. I'm like, look, I know this game coming here. I can play it here. Now, their game stayed on Game Pass, but third parties didn't. You had a limited time, and if you wanted to buy it, they give you a discount. Cool. I don't care. I'm just gonna try it out. There's so many games that I'm glad was on Game Pass, because
otherwise
the game shall not be named that we all played.
You'd have lost some money and been mad.
I would have been mad, because some of these people, like, there's certain studios, I'm like,
I still bought that game.
Bruh. Yeah, y'all would have to give me my money back. But and I think if you were being honest with people, if you asked them that have Game Pass, if they were being honest, they'd tell you, like, I use it as a rental service, because I don't buy half them games in there because half of them suck, and the ones I do, I'll buy. So there we go for that situation. But yeah, looks like we got a question.
Yep.
Asakatano, what type of spec do you expect Switch 2 to have other than PS4 teraflop count? I'm talking about CPU, RAM, motherboard. What are your thoughts on the ROG Alley? My thoughts on the ROG Alley is cool.
Yeah, I about to say, I can give you the dumbed down version. I know Shadow can do what you're asking for, but in regards to the dumbed down version, the Rogue, I think it is pretty cool. I've been watching a lot of videos between that and the Steam Deck, and it seems like until Windows figures this whole thing out with handheld, that's when it'll start getting a little bit better, which apparently they're working on something. But ultimately, I mean, the Steam Deck seems like the best ease of use when it comes down to, hey, just turn this thing on and play it. Now, granted, with the Rogue, I saw you can do Game Pass and all that good stuff, but it takes some work. Like, it takes some work. But as far as like Switch 2 is concerned, I mean, like I said, Shadow can talk about the flops and all the other good stuff, but I think it'll just be good enough to where they don't spend a whole bunch of money. And then you could take these games that you currently play now and they just run better. I don't think they're shooting for the moon. They never do. It makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to make buck off the system and not wait until years down the line, which is kind of confusing with Xbox and PlayStation. Shouldn't these parts be getting cheaper for your system to be cheaper and not increase the damn price on it? But it is what it is.
Well, my only thing, because I saw the whole ROG Alley presentation, my same issue I had with Steam Deck, that battery. Y'all want all this stuff, and you don't understand that that's gonna eat your battery.
Hey, but you see how people compromise it. I've seen people with these nasty battery packs on the back of them big ass handhelds. I'm like, bro, you literally walk around with a console in your hand, just like, yo, chill. Like,
deal with that. But I mean, if you game on PC, I mean, hey, Steam Deck or Rogue Alley, that hey, go for it. I mean, I don't game on PC like that, so those were never going to be appetizing to me. To be fair, to be honest, but because I'm fine with my Switch, and because most of the games I play are console based anyway, they're not. Not on my PC like that. As far as appeal, I think the Rogue Alley got some things that's appealing about it. But like Jack said, it's going to take some work for that Windows stuff to work. But I will give them a shout out because they did do a very good job explaining themselves. They did a very good job of explaining themselves. As far as Switch 2 is concerned, just going by Nintendo's business model, they're not going to do anything that's going to make you spend $700.
No,
they're not going to do that. They're going to do they're still going to do how Iwata basically broke it down at GDC 2005. Games.
Yep.
We are a game company. We ain't trying to keep up with Microsoft on. They tried that one time. One time they tried that and people got mad because they made the excuse that it's because of the mini disc.
Yeah. And they literally made that disc smaller because they wanted to decrease seat time.
But I was in college during those days. I knew people who were walking around, hey dog, I got the new Dreamcast. The Dreamcast games, dog. Got them PlayStation 2 games, bro. Got them PlayStation 1 games, dog. Like, they were not finna have it. You couldn't do that with the GameCube. You just couldn't.
Nah, it was very hard to do it back then.
Not do that.
I mean, today it's still hard to you still have to to write games. You need you need a copy of the player yourself to be able to write games. And you have to modify the entire motherboard to be able to read blank disc. To the point where for people to copy games, they had an Ethernet cable running from the GameCube while it was running a game to copy everything over into.
Half time that didn't work. Half time that didn't even work. So it was easier to do that on Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, and PlayStation 2. It was hard to do it on OG Xbox and GameCube. So like I said, I was on Yard when people would do that because that's how a lot of people made side money.
Yep.
It was music and PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and Dreamcast games. That's how people made their side cash from 98 to 2002.
The hustle.
Yeah, the hustle was real. So that's the last time they played the Power game. And then after that, and like I said, Iwata made that keynote speech in 2005 and basically said, look, if you try to do that, it's not sustainable.
No.
And people were saying then that he should have been removed as CEO. I'm like, no, he shouldn't. He know what he's talking about.
But he was killing the status quo, and they didn't like that. So they
didn't
started spinning talk around.
And then the whole thing with the Wii U. And I'll tell anybody in 2011, you watch that 2011 E3 press conference, you will see EA, Ubisoft, Activision, and who was the head of the other big one? It was head of somebody else. Come on stage and be like, they love what the Wii U is. 2012. They acted like they was all, this is garbage, this is everything. At that point, I realized, when I saw the look in the Iwata's eye, I'm like, he finna change the game on everybody. 2013, started doing directs. 2014, they destroyed E3 with that, when they teamed up with Robot Chicken for that direct presentation. And then they dropped Treehouse Live. It was a wrap after that. It was done.
Like Iwata said, he said, "Hey, we hear rumors, and we're getting this this misconception from people that that the Wii U is not a high performance console, so we have to show them with the games." And they're just like, Bayonetta 2 demo, take a look. Like, all the things you think that it can't do because of some numbers that you saw about a CPU that people don't understand. Let us show you why that doesn't matter.
And then you had IGN, you had game trailers, which Jeff Keighley was over, and they ain't get no more. Rev 3, Adam Sessler was there, ain't here no more. The original THQ, Jason Rubin, he was the CEO of that. It ain't here no more. Because
all these people, Electric Playground, all them,
I'm like, and IGN was notorious for it because they was trying to push the narrative of Nintendo needs to go third party because they losing money. I'm like, Nintendo at the time only had one flop console that was Virtual Boy.
Still
Everything
to this
else,
day, Wii U made money.
Yeah, everything else has made them money, and Wii U was a profit because all they had to do was sell one Wii U and one game. They made a profit. So that was just ridiculous. So you had gaming media, especially Western gaming media, try to murder them, and it didn't work. So not only did it backfire on them big time, they changed the game to where now even Sony and Microsoft are doing their own presentations, not going to them.
Oh, and for the record, over 120 million. I think it was 120 million games were sold for Wii U versus was it 13 million? So they almost got 10.
So it's like 10 to 1.
Yeah, so basically, like for Wii U to be profitable, they needed to sell 13 million software units, right? Because 13 million consoles sold, and they sold almost 10 times that. Yeah. So obviously, the system made profit
with 14 million consoles out in the wild, and now you got so many people begging for ports, and yes, it's hilarious because how in the world you begging for a port of a game that you said the system was trash for?
I just want to hear why the system was trash. I think I get it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just want to hear why they thought it was trash.
I can tell you exactly
with
why.
Their own words, not something they regurgitated from somebody else.
That's all I want to hear because I don't think I've ever heard a reason as into why the Wii U sucked. Because we've seen from generation to generation, people get caught in the console wars, and then when that generation is over, they'll go back and give the console its praise. It's like we got to hold the flag until the war is over with, as if the shit's not going to reset. But ultimately, then we'll go back and give it praise like they did the Dreamcast. But I just want to legitimately hear why you thought the Wii U was bad.
They're not going to do that.
You're just going to hear everybody else's talking points, like the gamepad being too bulky.
Which that wasn't true.
The games don't run as well, even though we know that wasn't true.
Yep.
It was bulky, but Steam Deck is bulkier.
And then it had external hard drive, but now the consoles do too. Like, it's like, all right, like,
it doesn't have that much memory. It doesn't have that much storage. You can stick an external in day one
or SD.
Day one
or an SD. Yeah, like you had two different forms. Like, so it was one. And plus, like I say, it was game trailers. And I know he don't like his name being brought up, but his name's going to be brought up because he was part of the problem. Michael Pachter.
Yep.
He's part of the problem.
He's always the problem. Why do people listen to him?
His predictions are trash.
He
was never right.
Here's what I don't understand. He's a Wedbush securities analyst. That is a massive damn conflict of interest.
Well,
that is a massive conflict of interest.
But are you confused with his takes then? If he's backed by Wall Street?
Yeah, I'm not confused with his takes at all. No, especially after hearing this stuff coming out in this Activision situation with Microsoft and Sony, where you got people don't even know what the freaking Switch is. They try to pretend like they don't know what Switch is. Like, bro, your grandchildren got 5 of them. Be quiet.
Sorry, booting up a dead system. Oh wait, it booted instantly. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just pressed the button and I see the menu.
Like the crazy part about it, right? So me and my kids have been watching videos here and there, like random stuff, speed runs, and these content creators that do like the different games. So like this one guy, he'll do all the 2Ks from the very first 2K up until now. And so my son was like, "Dad, how in the world did he download the games that fast?" I was like, "Son, we didn't always have to do that. Like we put the game in there and just play it back then. You didn't have to download shit. You just put the disc in there and call it a day."
Sometimes you had to blow on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then the disc, you had to wipe it down a little bit, even though I didn't know until now.
You weren't supposed to do that.
You weren't supposed to use like alcohol in your shirt, but got the job done.
Hey, it worked.
It was really just the act of you taking the cartridge out and putting it back into the ZIF connector that really did everything. It wasn't you blowing it at all.
And my grandfather said alcohol for everything.
Look, there's a bunch of people used to kiss their cartridges.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yo, like
press right to it.
Our household had the same method for both PlayStation disc and also cartridges. They would take alcohol, like actual rubbing alcohol for the disc, and then they would take a Q-tip and the alcohol and then rub it on the inside.
No,
Yeah.
rubbing alcohol on the disc could corrupt the data.
Hey,
I've
it
seen
made that bitch
so
work,
many
though.
people mess with their disc.
What's up, Miss K in the chat? What's going on? We just hanging out talking games.
Especially if your disc had a little scratch on it. That alcohol got in there. That's
it was over.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, it was over. So Miss K has brought up a very good point. Black Ops on the Wii U was fire. That's why anybody that says Call of Duty would not play right on the Switch, y'all can go somewhere with that. Because Black Ops, I
played
had
through the whole campaign with my son, played online with him. Like I'm on the gamepad or whatever.
And Chuck the whole time.
And
my thing is again though, Call of Duty was on DS.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was on the DS. Once it was on the DS.
Hold on. The DS was limiting the developer's vision.
That's what I'm about to say. Where was the limitations of the vision at that point in time?
Once it hit the DS, your arguments are null and void. That's it.
Dude, it was on the Wii. They had so many commercials for that game on the Wii. Y'all remember that? Because they had a commercial for the zapper, they had a commercial for the pistol, for the little handgun. When I'm like, hold on, what the
bro? Like, I don't get it. Now I would still say I feel like the controller setup for the Wii U was still the best. I still like the sticks up top.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody else doesn't do that. Like I love the fact that the sticks were up top. I don't know why that's more comfortable for me. I just loved it. But
because the right stick, the buttons were right underneath. Like
yeah.
Honestly, I think they should have both options.
They really
or
should.
like they were playing, like they had that one patent for the modular controller where you could slot them in and out.
Yeah.
If they did that, it'd be a wrap for the next platform. If they did that,
Legend of Josh, it's not that hard to do. You just get
it. Really isn't.
My thing is even worse. Even worse. There's a Call of Duty mobile.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna say it can't run? It can't be a Call of Duty on the Switch.
Well, let's just say this: Switch fixes the CPU issue that Wii U had, right? Because developers didn't want to write integer, whatever. They wanted to do just SIMD instructions and have those floats work well on there, right? Switch fixes that problem. So now you can just run your broken ass code on the Switch or whatever, and it executes the way it is intended, just like it is on PC. Just being honest, right? So now that's not an issue.
Yeah.
And then the GPU, it is more modern, so it's able to run the shaders the way that you expected them to. Whereas on Wii U, you would have to overclock the system or whatever and run close to 60 watts. On Switch, you could do it at 11. So I really don't understand why you could build a game for Wii U and then you're like, Switch isn't an option for us because we don't even understand. We don't know how to put this game in 540p on the Switch.
Oh, that's a damn lie. They were doing it fast.
We put it at 900p on Wii U, like.
But once it hits 145 million, we'll magically figure that out.
I mean, hold on, no, but they were doing that for Xbox 360 and PS3 for how long?
Yeah.
The bullshit.
And it was more than 900p. It was close to 1 million pixels on Wii U because you were playing on the gamepad in addition to 720p on the TV at the same time. So and that system supposedly only had 172 gigaflops. I doubt that because of the age of that GPU was newer than what the development kit was. So I think it's actually double or maybe a little bit more than that in terms of gigaflops. But every time I go and I try to edit that with the reference on there, I get the Wikipedia strike. Tell me I can't contribute anymore. So no matter which.
But that's because they don't like you.
Yeah, they don't want that to be there. And
they're like, nah, we can't have nobody telling the truth.
Well, DJ Drone about the Wii U had multiple control options.
It
had multiple control options,
just like the Switch does.
You had Wii Remote and Chuck, Classic Controller Pro. You can use the gamepads. You can use Pro Controller. It had multiple
GameCube controllers.
Yeah, GameCube controllers. It had multiple. The vast majority of Wii games as well. Wii and Wii U games were multiple. They had multiple control layouts.
Yeah, because even like the Classic Controller, I love that thing.
If you can
Classic
find
Controller
them,
Pro.
Yeah.
If you can find them, because a lot of them have been scrubbed, go back to YouTube circa 2010 to 2012 and just listen to.
You ain't gonna find it on
Listen-
IGN. IGN scrub
listen-
their whole thing.
Listen to game journalists talk about Nintendo in general. Just listen. It's the cringiest shit, and you're just like, wait, what? None of that's true. Why
None
are they
of it was
saying
true.
that? Unfortunately, in today's age, what is repeated the most is what the new truth is.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you continue saying bullshit, people will say bullshit. I had a
rewrite
long
history.
discussion with somebody on Twitter not too long ago this week, and I'm just like, bro, why do you keep saying this? Where are you getting this from? He's like, well, it's here. You think that Giant Bomb is lying? And I'm like,
Yep.
and I go and I look and I'm like, he can't be talking about this. Of course, I had the source pulled up the entire time because I'm asking him what the fuck he's talking about. And I'm like, that's very specific what he said. So it's real easy to Google the exact thing, the exact quote, and you get the exact result from where he pulled it from. And I'm like, you pulled it from the Giant Bomb Wikipedia page. There's no sources listed on there at all. And he's like, would Giant Bomb lie? Is this an article from Giant Bomb or is this their Wikipedia page?
Well, first of all, Giant Bomb would lie because it's
course
written
they
by
would.
a person. So people have agendas. They will lie.
Yeah.
But this individual was trying to say the developer Treyarch was saying everything then at the time.
No,
and I'm
they
like,
weren't.
and the whole time I got hidden in my in my chamber. I got a pistol loaded. So in the chamber, I'm over here. I got an entire interview with Treyarch talking about Wii and what they did and how they made everything. And the engine was not modified. They translated the entire engine to Wii so it would be same. So when they built the new Call of Duty game, it worked on Wii and it worked on 360. So I'm like, why is he saying this and where is he getting this from? Because as soon as he starts saying the bullshit, I'm gonna hit him with the facts. So he goes and he's like, well, I got it from here. And I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, Treyarch said it. I'm like, you sure? I'm like, okay, so if I have Treyarch actually saying something that conflicts with what you're saying, are you gonna apologize? I don't expect you to. No. You're just gonna pretend, oh, well, I'm still kind of right because
Or block.
You must say kind of right.
Or block.
No, they quick to block.
Yeah, or that block, or they just say, "Well, I'm just gonna mute this convo because it's not my mental health." I guess no,
touch
you
grass.
started this shit. Like,
You started it. You started something you didn't want to finish.
it's not like I'm jumping in the conversation. These are responses to tweets that I put out. I put tweets out here, and people come join the conversation, and they start, and I'm like, where are you getting this from? Okay, I'll bite. Go ahead, and they continue to just fall over on their own sword, and I'm like, bro, like.
And it really ain't even that serious.
Yeah, and I'm like, just say you heard it a bunch of times and you made it up in your head. You just thought it was true. That's fine because we could just go down the rabbit trail and find out what the truth is. And once you see the truth, don't block. Hold that L and be like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It would
I mean,
be
that's
so
so
much
easy.
easier if people did that.
Yeah. But then again, that messes with the whole mind frame, which is why the mental health thing comes into play. But I'm like, you can't. To me, you can't claim mental health when you're the one that started the argument.
Exactly.
Like when you start pulling a conversation to an argument instead of a discussion, you can't now claim that, oh, I got to stop this for my mental health. No, you started.
There's too many people copying Adam Sessler out here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Killing me with that.
But yeah, I mean,
I find it to be hilarious.
Like while we all do this for fun, I would love to get to a point to where I can interview certain developers and just ask these type of questions because most people don't ask developers anything other than your standard ass questions.
Capcom, get in here with us.
Yeah.
Capcom is not gonna get in here with us because they too busy looking at joke tweets to try to figure out what they're gonna do, and they already know what you're gonna ask, and they're not gonna put Sean in the game.
No, I'm about to say because I'll be petty enough to ask, like, okay, well, what the hell happened with Wii U? Like, why were y'all spewing all this dumb stuff? And then how do you rectify yourself now with the Switch, or even talking about you need all this power with these other consoles? Like, what is the agenda?
Well,
what was the push? Because that's what I want to know. What was the agenda to get Nintendo out of here?
The response that was going to be those things are under an NDA, and I am not allowed to speak on it.
Well, my question would be this. Hey, so y'all got Resident Evil Engine to run on the Switch, right? That was great, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I am enjoying myself with Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak. When's Street Fighter 6 coming?
Right.
At this point, I'm like, Street Fighter 4? Like,
I mean,
we're having issues with Street Fighter 4, and I'm like, but you got it running on the 3DS.
3DS.
Well, will you port the 3DS version in?
Yep. Can we get the 3DS version? Can we get it?
I mean, you just put, like, you can do the 360 version.
Like,
Well,
why
we
not?
know what it is, right?
Yeah, we already know what that is. Yeah.
So thank you, Microsoft, for exposing this, but we know what it is. They can't.
Did we say this before all this stuff came out?
Yeah.
Like years ago.
We said that, and then we got called fanboys for saying it.
And then,
Capcom is like, our lawyers said we can't.
how the terms have tabled.
Like blink twice if you're under an NDA and you're scared.
Hey, Capcom, we know Sony holding the knife to y'all throat. We know.
You better not say nothing, or I'm gonna come cry everything. I'm Jim Ryan.
I mean, but those are just big facts. So now we know what we always suspected, right? Like there are games that did not make it specifically to Nintendo platforms because that was part of the publishing agreement to get the game funded to begin with,
right?
Yep.
Or to try to keep a certain company's home nation dominance. Or market share dominance.
I was just about to say, at the time, Sony didn't see Microsoft as a threat, which is crazy to me.
Which was crazy. Well, Microsoft don't sell in Japan.
Yeah.
So they ain't had nothing to worry about. The people they had to worry about was
Nintendo.
Yeah. They had to worry about Wonder Swan. Like,
yeah. But the funny thing about that whole situation is, and I still find this to be funny about this whole Microsoft and Sony Activision thing, is the fact that all of their dirt is coming out and they don't realize they need to shut the hell up.
They're very quickly. Oh, one thing I want to say on that, for everybody who's paying attention and y'all see the quotes, in legal proceedings, you will hear some ridiculous sounding shit because of the legalese and how it has to be presented. It may not make sense to you just going off of normal vernacular, but that's how the legal system works, which is stupid, but that's how it works.
Also, most lawyers and judges aren't gamers, so you're going to hear
a
lot of fucked up
look,
shit.
We got the FTC saying,
the FTC telling on themselves. I'm like, bro,
hold up, the Nintendo Switch isn't a competitor. It's outselling everything.
Yep,
you're right. You're right. It's not a competitor
because they aren't competitors either. Like
I guess it's not a competitor because it didn't already beat everybody and taking their lunch money.
At this point, they just bullying people. I mean,
they Debo and everything like Fangirl.
First of all,
poor J Dub. I don't know what else to say. Poor J Dub. Like you just.
First of all, man, if we can only take a small time out just to reminisce over the most impressive love song of 2023, "Peaches."
Great love song.
The greatest love song of all times.
You already know.
Greatest love song.
But yeah, and on that,
my Sony water.
And on that note, so we had a Nintendo Direct this past week, and we did do a live reaction. So if you haven't had a chance to, please check it out. It's on the channel. But y'all know people are kind of upset.
I know. Yeah, I see it a lot. Yeah.
Y'all mad about Super Mario RPG getting a remake?
I'm telling you,
that was the weirdest shit.
What the hell?
You heard for years everybody begging for this game to come
that
out.
And Chrono Trigger. That and Chrono Trigger.
I'll play the devil's advocate with this situation. I'll play the devil's advocate because it's the same thing.
There is no devil's advocate.
There is because it was the same thing I said about Final Fantasy VII. These games get so critically acclaimed that if you bring them back, there's going to be enough people to say, nope, this game is not good. And then it's going to lose whatever status it had because it can't match it.
Because it's in their mind.
It's in their mind because it's just like Half-Life 3. It will never reach what people think it would be. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Chrono Trigger because it's still dubbed as one of the best RPGs ever. And let it get remade and let the new modern gamers touch him. Like, yo, what the fuck were y'all playing?
Yeah,
it's a wrap. Like that's like it's a wrap from there.
Yeah.
Like,
but
which is crazy to me because even replaying those, they're still great.
Here's the thing, though. The new modern gamers are emulating everything, so they don't got a damn excuse.
they
ain't got an excuse.
According to them, they don't have an excuse.
They don't.
They have no excuse because they are emulating it. So if you get this game remade and the stylistically is the same, it just looks better.
Yep.
then they have nothing to complain about.
I'm trying
Final
to tell you.
Fantasy VII, I understand why people complain because the style
not
of
the
the
same
game
game.
completely
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
not the
they
same thing.
made story changes. They made straight up story
Yeah,
changes.
they
So,
changed a lot with Final Fantasy. If
Yeah.
Super Mario RPG stays the same with the story and everything, they just add to it.
I mean, you're getting Gino. Why y'all
Yeah, they're
complaining?
finally getting Gino
You're
back.
finally getting Gino. But here's the thing. I enjoyed the direct. I thought it was actually pretty good. You know, it's one of those situations where I wasn't expecting them to do it that fast. I thought they was going to wait till probably like August or September to do it, but they went on and did it, and I'm not even mad about it. I'm actually, hey, this actually works. But the people getting mad at one, Super Mario RPG, and two, Mario Wonder.
Man,
I'm like, what in the world am I in Bizarro land?
yes,
It's all because like it's crazy. It's like a catch-22, right? They complained and bitched about not knowing anything about Metroid. So then Nintendo drops the trailer and it's just the title. Now we haven't heard anything else about it, and they're complaining again, as into like, well, why did you say announce it in the first place if you weren't going to show anything or if the game wasn't ready? Because of you. Like you're the reason why they showed it. So now every direct that doesn't have this game that most people don't even care about is going to be dubbed as a failure.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. That's the other thing, because on the Metroid front, I'm like, until Dread exposed a lot of people. Y'all didn't play this damn series.
Clearly,
y'all didn't.
No.
And then when Metroid Prime Remastered dropped, I was expecting that thing to sell like 38 million. The way people was talking.
We're gonna never sell that much. Not
All
even
right,
close.
then, like, so, like, what? Who?
you don't shoot walls in Metroid, like
Yeah. Hey, David Jaffe, the Lord Jesus, David, just shut the hell up. But that was just that was just crazy. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. And according to our latest poll on the Wingin' It community tab, 58% of y'all loved it as well.
go poll.
Like I told you, it got a 5 out of 10 because of two reasons with me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's
it is.
because of DK getting his ass whooped.
And this only being
David Jaffe room. That means Center X. Legendary comment.
yes. But I will say though, this has been getting a lot of love. Like I've seen other outlets start posting it, so maybe.
But see, Nintendo's notorious for doing that. They'll show like 2 or 3 other games in that doggone Japan Direct that don't be in the English one, and then miraculously they just show up. They shadow dropped.
Now, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if this one shadow dropped. The other one that they showed seems like a fun game, but I know it would never come here. It was like what 4 player game to where it's like 4 schoolgirls and you're pretty much just running through these random events. It's like a race, but you're running through running through malls and running through like grocery stores and different things. It's a crazy game. It looks like fun, but I need this one to come, like for sure.
Goemon should have never went nowhere. But Ray, I'm on the same boat. Prime 4 is gonna be a cross gen. That and whatever 3D Super Mario title coming next is gonna be cross gen.
That's what I wanted to talk about there. But
actually, like we were both on the same thought process then, because I'm thinking because of Ubisoft slip up. It's going to be one of those things where they release it for the Switch, but it's going to have on the packaging enhancements for this platform, for the next platform. Because we're basically being told it's already backwards compatible.
Yep.
So
basically,
I really think that, like, so people were talking about, and Nintendo has nothing to show for the rest of the year. I'm like, you realize that it goes without saying that Nintendo's successor right now, right, is going to be backwards compatible, right?
Right.
So now that being said, of course they'll have stuff to show for Switch or whatever, because all these games are going to be cross-gen. Right. So why wouldn't they show a whole lot more and they just don't say what platform? They'll just say, hey, there's more to come for Nintendo Switch, wink. And then they show you games and you see these games, great. And then also they are launch titles for the new. It just goes without saying, man. So
and I believe some of them, like this Princess Peach game and that Luigi's mentioned too. I think that's going to be like digital for the next one too. I don't see them not doing that.
Me either.
So
I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Nintendo to do this direct this early. I thought they were going to wait until like
September.
August or September.
Yeah.
I think they'll have another one. Yeah.
And so when they did it, I'm like, if they do this and it's really going to be this long, almost an hour, they got to show some games that are going to be on the next platform. They just won't say that
Correct.
that's what
Nope.
that is.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they're just like, yeah, here's a whole bunch of games coming out. Well, and we got games coming out 2024 and the end of 2023. And I'm like, they're being very coy about like
Yep.
how they're showing these games to you. So and we already know, like, even with Switch Sports and stuff like that, they're baking in whatever upscaling they're doing in the game because they're getting ready. So my thing is, I'm and I mentioned this before. So a couple people asked me on Twitter, how is this system going to work? And the other comment that we were addressing, I believe Nintendo's using their own upscaling solution for with AMD to use for offline. So whenever you're playing on the go or what have you, it does its own internal upscaling and it's still not rendering stuff at. Why would you want 1440p in your hand, right?
No.
So you
It's
can
just
upscale
It's
to whatever.
just gonna hurt.
Yeah, just upscale to whatever the screen resolution is while you're on the go, and that'll be offline upscaling.
Yeah.
And then DLSS if you're
Take care of the rest.
Yeah.
And then take care of the rest. So Trinell, you are absolutely correct. Don't forget to boycott each one of these games.
Oh yeah,
Specifically
right.
Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, that one needs to be boycotted.
Yeah, that one needs to be boycotted so they can make bank. At this point, Nintendo's doing this on purpose so they can actually make bank. I'm betting they're like, okay, so which game needs to get boycotted because we need to make bank. Super Mario RPG can get boycotted. Show make it look like a Link's Awakening. Make it look like
My only problem with the way this is going is now I think for everything for the rest of the calendar year for Nintendo Switch, and probably even while the Switch successor is out, all those physical releases are going to be delayed. So there'll be an eShop version first because of the piracy.
But they've been doing that anyway though, so you should already be ready for that.
But there's still some Breath of the Wild is a worldwide release, right? So that cart got out. It was going to get out there because some distributor somewhere was holding them in a warehouse and they snuck a copy or two and then somebody takes it home and then they upload it wrong.
Look, man, I done worked in a warehouse. That stuff happen all the time.
Yeah.
Like people be like, this is refurbished.
So I expect it to be a month, like they'll announce a game or whatever, and they'll say physical version coming later or whatever. Especially for Switch right now, because people they know exactly how to extract all that. Now, as far as the new system, you could do day and date because it's going to be new technology, new encryption or whatever, right? But for Switch, I think they'll probably be like, hey, on eShop like today, and if you want the physical version, wait 30 days. I expect that to happen probably until Switch is gone. I for major releases, I expect Nintendo to continue doing that. So I would, I hate it for my, because I'm a physical guy. I like having something to sit on my shelf to represent what I spent money for. But unfortunately, people like me, we got to pay for idiots out here.
At this point, to be honest, with a lot of how some of the size of these games. A lot of these games ain't coming on the physical media anyway, so you in the same boat. That's what I keep telling. I'm like, I get it. I would love to be back to the day where it was like fully physical, but y'all complaining about $70. You're not gonna pay for them to put Call of Duty. Just as an example, the latest Call of Duty is 285 gigs. For them to get a proprietary Blu-ray or 4K disc to put that game on, you're gonna pay for it, and you're not willing to pay for it. You're not. You're not gonna want to pay for it because number one is gonna be proprietary, which means Sony and Microsoft are gonna make their own proprietary disc. You have to pay them for that.
Yep.
For that physical media, for that whole game to be on that disc, you're not gonna want to pay for it if you're complaining about $70. You're just not. So let's just cut the BS right there with that. Secondly, all these games got to be installed anyway, so your disc or whatever you're using is basically just a license key to say, hey,
CD key
on this game.
Yep.
So it's installed anyway. So why my whole thing was, why am I paying for a box for nothing? Basically, I might as well just download the game because if they cut the server off, we in the same boat.
Regardless.
So unless you buy indie stuff, I don't see why to be fair, I don't understand why people are clamoring for physical, especially with games like your Call of Duties, your Destinies that are like ridiculously large, like
or even now with this Metal Gear collection,
Yeah.
so where they only got what two
games.
gigs,
Yeah.
2 gigs on there,
Well,
and then the rest is digital.
I think it's like 2 of the games are on there.
No, they were saying like 2 gigabytes is on the cart, and then the rest is digital download.
Digital.
Yeah,
it's wild.
So yeah, I mean, bro, it is what it is. I mean, the size of these games, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, ain't nobody trying to. The whole game's not coming on the disc no more. They're not coming on the physical thing no more, unless it's like an indie game or something like that. Like then, the cart for Streets of Rage 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, that's gonna be on there. The cart for the Cowabunga collection, all those games are gonna be on there because that's what under 5 gigs.
Right.
So that's all gonna be on there. But when you start talking about Mortal Kombat, you start talking about Destiny, you start talking about Call of Duty and Final Fantasy VII Remake and Starfield. Like, people are mad about the Starfield situation. I'm like, what did you expect? That game's gonna be like 100-something gigs.
I will say
at
this
launch.
though. I'm gonna say this though. I'm increasingly upset with these publishers because even when you're talking about Starfield, right? That's a Microsoft product.
Yep.
So they have the money.
Yep.
I'm more upset about these Switch publishers because this is not that expensive. Like the whole Metal Gear situation.
Yeah, that's not.
You're talking about Konami and their biggest freaking franchise. You can afford, because you know you're going to get the money back. You can afford to either do 3 separate carts or do one giant 32 gig cart or 64 gig cart at this point. You can afford that.
Yeah, because 64 gigs ain't that much. 64 gig cards don't cost that much.
You can afford that cost. So go ahead, hold that L, eat it, and then go from there. You know you're going to sell at least if you don't sell 1 million, you'll sell 500,000, right? You get your money back right then. So why do you even care? You know what I mean? What kind of situation you got going on with regards to that? Why do you want to continually try to push out 8 gig carts because you want the max amount of profit? Like, bro,
I'm about to say
no,
max profits. Max profits.
Like, that's just gross. Why do that to people?
Hey.
Well, I mean, number one, Konami's supposed to be making pachinko machines. I don't even know why y'all still up here worried about them making games. They're supposed to be making pachinko machines. Leave them alone. Stop bullying them, Shadow.
To me, it more screams more about like we have to give Nintendo the bare minimum because again, that contract with Sony. I don't know what these people are smoking, but it's just like bare minimum. It was the same situation with Wii U where they're like, hey, yeah, we've got our third-person shooter on Wii U. It's great. And we got Game Pass support and all this other kind of stuff. But DLC only comes out on the other platforms. Not DLC comes first on the other platforms. It don't even come out for Wii U. Like, what are we doing?
Mass Effect 3 was
that was egregious.
Yeah. But then again, that's also EA.
Yeah, that was EA being EA.
Yeah, that was EA being EA. Because EA could have did it, and we all know why they didn't. But at least it ain't the cloud version. Square Enix Kingdom Hearts.
That's another thing. Do y'all see that continuing with this next system?
No.
The cloud versions?
No.
A lot of that stuff could run locally on Switch now. Anyway, it's just they don't want to pay to develop. It's just easier for them to run their jank code from a cloud.
To be fair, for Square Enix, they probably honestly can't afford it outside of what they already got worked on. They probably can't afford it. Capcom, there's no excuse because once Capcom got that Resident Evil engine working on the Switch, there was no excuse after that.
Yeah, no excuse though.
After that,
port the games.
Yeah, port the games over. Like you got this. It's your engine that you're using. And when they using it and they're using Resident Evil engine for the for Street Fighter 6, there's no excuse.
Nope,
there's none.
The biggest postmortem that explains a lot of the issues that people had with Wii U was the postmortem for what's the name of this game? I can't think of shit. I keep wanting to say Deus Ex. It's not Deus Ex. It's the game with 2B. I can't think of
Nier Automata. Yeah.
Nier. So they spent the majority of their time trying to convert their sound engine over to Switch. And I'm like, it has its own DSP. But for whatever reason, they wanted to run it on a CPU. So they were using the SIMD task on the PS4 to run this certain code for sound or whatever, right? And they converted it to work in Neon, which is Switch's SIMD CPU. how can I say this? Is their own version of code inherent to the CPU there, right? So they went and said, hey, look, so for floats on Switch, we're going to convert to Neon, and it's going to do these certain things for audio. That was the biggest thing that was affecting frame rates on that game. So something you don't even see visually, because you're thinking, oh, well, the graphics just can't blah blah blah. No, it was the sound.
Yeah.
And once they got over that, everything else worked the way they expected, and they went from there. So we know these things to be true similarly for Wii U then at the time, because that CPU didn't even really have the type of SIMD float performance that they wanted then at the time. You would have to do that stuff on the GPU and then convert it over, have it sitting in main memory, whatever, before you get the result that you want. And developers didn't want to adjust to that. Why people won't say that now is probably the biggest fallacy to me. And that's why we won't ever be those people that will interview developers. So they say, oh, well, yeah, we can't, it just doesn't reach the vision. Oh, okay, could you elaborate on that? What exactly is not happening? Oh, well, we can't get this to work on blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, what issues are you running into getting it to work? Oh, well, we can't do this part on here. Oh, okay, well, why don't you just run that on the GPU? Because it's a general purpose, like you can just run general purpose code there. Like think OpenCL. Run your own version of OpenCL on the system and see if you get the result fast. I can't speak on that. So let me talk to the publisher. We would never do interviews with you again. Bye.
Nope.
Because at that point now the feet are held to the fire of the person that created the game. Because what you're telling me is this fixed hardware that doesn't change at all, and you knew exactly how it worked or what it was supposed to do in front of you. The SDK doesn't change. Like it's still gonna garbage in, garbage out. What you're telling me is you put garbage in, and then you just look at them. You put garbage in, and that's it. So because I'm looking here and I'm like, I got a whole open world game working on this same platform. You're talking about they can't handle your vision in 1 gig of RAM. And then you continue to tell me that it can't happen in 3 gigs of RAM on Switch because vision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Well, we're running in 4K and 60 frames. Like, oh, okay. So, is your game on PC? Yeah. Oh, okay. What are you doing for PCs that have weaker graphics cards that are older? Oh, well, we just have different toggles on there for the. Oh, okay. So what you're telling me is that game can run at 720p. Yeah. Okay. It can, right? Oh, yeah. So there's consoles that run at that resolution too. You're gonna port for. It doesn't fit our vision, but your vision is in 720p on PC.
Right.
Look, man, we just ain't gonna put the game on.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I would respect them more if they just did that. Like, yo, we just don't want to.
Just tell me, look, we didn't get paid to do it.
Correct.
That part.
Simple. We did not get paid to do it.
Or we legally cannot, which is...
There you go.
But that would be NDA territory.
Could you? I mean, would that be NDA? Because you didn't tell me who.
That would still be NDA because the
you
contract...
Because now you're talking about exclusivity. You can't mention it if it's part of...
Yep.
Well,
even if it's partial exclusivity, like you can't mention...
I mean, why do you think we started getting all of these ports like Tales of Symphonia and all these other games near Nino?
The deals expired.
Yeah, that and the fact that like all this stuff started coming out, Sony ain't looking too good.
Mm-hmm.
Sony's not looking too good as far as in their quest to be the saviors of gaming. As far as it responds.
Also, Japan is
you watch your mouth, sir. Because kind of similar to what FL21 ID said. There is no way Final Fantasy 16 can flop. Damn it! Like the SSD is the reason why that game is going to succeed.
It's on because it's on PC. And you can play it on PC later. You can still play it on the hard drive.
We talking about Devil May Cry 16? I mean,
now, why are you making fun of Bayonetta 16? Why are you making fun of Bayonetta 16?
Man,
Baby's first Xenoblade game.
That's actual change 16, bro. What you going on?
Yo, like for everybody that hated Bayonetta, I better not see you playing Final Fantasy 16.
Not at all.
Not now. Astral Chain, what's that? Okay, pay attention.
Now, what does this do for Stellar Blade then? Because this pretty much
that pretty much killed that.
Because I saw something about Stellar Blade, like that game's not even close to being done from what they were saying.
Yep.
From what they were saying, because it was originally supposed to come out
pushing
this
extra year out.
Yeah, because it was supposed to originally come out this year.
Yeah.
And
RJ with the comment of the month. I feel you over there. That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
true.
I got my Sony water. That's what I'm talking
Sony
about.
for the win,
Sony
baby.
always wins, baby.
just
Sony for
win,
the
baby,
win.
win.
My man Triple M there though ain't right.
8 gigabits of RAM.
Hold on. Let me put my God of War edition in the view there. Got to bone it up.
Of ramming.
Said 8 gigabytes of ramming.
I mean, 8 gigabytes of ramming. I mean, and all the TD flops.
Yep, there you go.
Oh man.
Just so you know, there are ponies in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So
Yes, they
true.
are.
They're
not
there.
Sony ponies though.
Yep.
Right. Now to talk about
They're
also with the
unbranded.
direct, one game I expected to see was Deca Police. Like, why?
Yeah.
Where is that game at?
That's why I think there's going to be another one. That's
Okay.
why I think there's going to be another one, probably in September, October, because I think that game's dropping sometime in the fall.
Yeah, because I expected to see it pretty soon, but
Yeah.
I mean, did they put a date on it or no?
No, but the placeholder I saw was like Q3 and Q3, which that would be around September, October.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Usually Q3 games would drop usually September, October, somewhere in there.
I don't need it to be October. We already got stuff in October.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming out in October. The back half of this year is actually going to be a lot.
Yeah, because I didn't even realize that somebody pointed out Mario and Spider-Man dropping on the same damn day.
Yeah, same.
I was like,
Ooh, I
That's
feel
gonna
bad
hurt.
for Spider-Man.
I was like, wow.
I feel so bad for Spider-Man.
I mean, yeah, because what's gonna happen?
Look,
man, y'all know.
Sonic is at least going 3 days ahead.
Yeah. That's why I'm thinking what's gonna happen is there's gonna be another direct probably in September, probably middle to the end of September. We're gonna get the rest of those release dates. If DECA hasn't been pushed back, which I don't think it will be, they're probably gonna put the release date then. But right now, it's looking like it's probably gonna be.
Because I mean, and now it's crowded. Because at this point, there's
or they can push it out in November. November ain't crowded,
right? But my thing is like there was 2 games. I'm like, okay, they've been shown, they look good, and I would like to see them at these directs. DECA hadn't popped up, and then once again, like I mentioned in the last show, AEW. Like, why is nobody showing this?
Yep.
I don't know, but they did do a developer, content creator event.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and so when they did that, that's when they started putting out like the clips of the stuff that like some of the mini games they started doing, like the barbed wire death match.
I think that's another lawyer thing.
Yeah, I think that's a WWE lawyer.
WWE
it's got to be a WWE thing. Yeah, because I was like, do you mean to tell me not one Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo showed this game off?
But they letting content creators do it.
Yeah, I mean, and then also too, I mean, before they did that event, I had already seen the whole game anyway because this guy in France got it earlier, and he did like an hour stream showing the whole damn game in the roster. But still, it was just weird to me for a game to get ready to come up, but then that kind of goes hand in hand with what has been going around too of WWE pretty much like shutting down these arenas or these venues for AEW, saying like, okay, y'all can't come here or y'all can't do this in a certain time frame.
And then they go somewhere else and then still out anyway. So like, bro, just stop.
While we're talking about this, I'll go ahead and bring up the elephant in the room. Like, how scared are these people about this Switch successor? Because like right after that direct, all of a sudden Microsoft lets know, hey, we think that the PS6 and the next Xbox is going to come out in 2028.
That was the most random.
Fuck possessed you to do that?
It's just random.
Well, no,
are you shook?
Well, right, dude, from a business perspective, hell yeah, they shook.
Yeah,
hell yeah, they shook. Like, dude, well, we already talked about. We know how Nadella is over at Microsoft. We already know how he is. Sony right now, really, if Sony didn't have that deal with Marvel for Spider-Man, they'd be in way worse shape.
Here's the thing. They're massaging the Overton window because what they have to say is the generation starts with us. Because now we're in a situation again where guess what? Nintendo's starting another generation again.
And we've already
gotten
past.
They started with Switch. They tried to say that didn't happen, and now Switch is going to be competing with the PS5 and the Series X longer than it competed with PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can't say it was officially part of that generation. And now its successor is coming out. It's officially starting the 10th generation.
To be completely fair, I think if Microsoft wants to do better, they need to stop worrying about power. They need to stop saying they the most powerful, and they need to. You have the Rareware catalog.
You can't do it.
Use it.
You can't do it. You
I've
in too
already
deep.
I've already done that discussion. They just need to listen. Stop trying to make the super big games. Stop trying to.
I think they in too deep, man.
Stop.
I think they in too deep.
Well, the beautiful thing about this is they're never in too deep because they have Game Pass.
Yeah.
They're not in too deep. All they got to do is just be okay. All right, this is what we're gonna do. All these people we done bought, I don't care what you're working on no more. Everywhere that y'all don't even know what it is. Work on Jet Force Gemini. Y'all don't even know what it is. Work on Jet Force Gemini.
All they have to do, if they like I said in the discussion I did, and be real slick about it, go back and take the Xbox or Xbox Live Arcade, rebrand it into just Xbox Arcade, and do smaller games. Smaller games to fill in those gaps between the big ones. You don't have small first-party games. Start doing it. Battletoads was a horrible mess, but you still need smaller games.
The fact that it was there was enough.
300 hours. Everything ain't got to be 300 hours and fully online.
You got lightning in the bottle. Killer Instinct was lightning in the bottle. That was supposed to be an Xbox Live Arcade game, and it worked out great.
They can literally redo that same process again with Killer Instinct, but this time cross over the other IPs. You got Perfect Dark, you got fucking Cameo, you got Halo. Why is Master Chief not in fucking Killer Instinct?
Because of Dead or Alive.Maybe that was an agreement. That's the only thing.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that agreement is over with by now.
Yeah,
one would hope.
That was back in
2000.
That was 360. That was 360. By now,
that would have been a hell of a deal if it's still going.
And then that wasn't even Master Chief.
Yeah, couldn't find out.
But that was Team Ninja and Microsoft working together then at that point, because there was crossplay there, because all the Ninja Gaiden games ended up being exclusive for Xbox first. They were doing stuff like have Xboxes inside of the as collectibles and stuff like that. So it was just one of those things where they were clearly working together. I'm just like, that deal should be over, I'm imagining, because you got Ninja Gaiden collections coming out on Switch and other platforms now. So I'm imagining that's over. So now what they want to do is put Master Chief in another game. Yeah, you're right. They should.
I'm just like this.
Master Chief should have been on in Smash.
Yeah, instead of Orbiter. Yeah.
They could literally treat Killer Instinct as the quote unquote adult Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put Master Chief in there, throw Zit's Rash and Pimple in there, throw the Dark Queen in there with her original look.
Oh no, you can't do that. That's sexualizing. You're sexualizing women. You're sexualizing women, sir.
You can kiss my ass.
So
we don't.
Charles,
we are.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We are male feminists.
I'm sorry. I want the intelligent version of that character, and that's the design that version had. I don't want the dumbass version of her. I want the smart version, the powerful version, the one that can mow down an army with the swing of a finger.
But sir, you're still sexualizing her.
There you go.
So Charles put a comment out, and I want to know. I'm gonna ask a question now, because does Sunset Overdrive count as a AA game, or is that still a AAA game?
I would say it's a AA.
I would call it a AA. Yeah,
I'd say it's AA.
Okay, so that was the AA game.
That was the AA.
Yeah,
like to the point that they did a bundle, like they did a console bundle, and I think that game needed way more attention. Man. That was a really good game.
Hey, put it on the Switch. It'll do way better.
They should. There's Xbox Live games on the Switch. Like, just continue to push them out there. Put Cycle, whatever you got to do.
Flip them in.
Look, if I'm Microsoft, I'm trying to make money any way I can get it. And Andre, like you had said a couple months ago, why ain't Perfect Dark on the damn Switch?
Yep.
On NSO. Why not?
Should be.
I mean,
they'll make money off of it.
GoldenEye is put damn Perfect Dark on there. Put Jet Force Gemini on there. And Triple M,
this game.
That was a dope ass idea.
They should have been Master Chief for the Xbox.
This game.
They should have.
This game.
You know, the screwy thing is, if they did a Star Leak again, and then they did guest characters for each platform,
it would work.
Because Master Chief for Xbox. You
Yep.
have Star
Who the-
Fox or
Who the hell Sony got?
Samus.
Who
Or
Sony got?
Samus.
I was
They
about
could
to
use
say.
what's the
Astrobot?
They could do Ratchet.
They could do
Actually,
Ratchet.
yeah, they could do
Oh,
that.
okay.
Hell, they could do Jack.
Yeah.
Then that means they would have to bring him back, and they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They're mature.
Sony's like they're
They're
dead
a
to us.
mature. They are a mature gaming company.
Yep.
They don't.
Uh-huh.
They don't mess with the
Maturely
the
losing
riffraff
money.
for the families.
Pinky up, brother. Pinky up.
Yep.
Pinky up
up.
with some
Yeah,
teeth.
pinkies.
You know what I mean?
You're talking about GoldenEye. That's more MGM than it is Nintendo.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo just has the code rights to the N64 game, which means you can't get the engine. Lord help you. And Rare has the development rights for the GoldenEye.
Bro, I tell you,
franchise.
business is a messy damn thing. Bro.
Well, that-
It's like-
Once again, that's why like when people were complaining about all these games, I'm like, dude, just because you like an obscure NES title does not mean they know where the licenses is for all this stuff. They don't know where half the stuff is.
I think J2 brought up an interesting point, but I thought that Microsoft owned Sunset Overdrive. I understand Insomniac developed
Do they?
it.
Yeah,
No, I thought
Didn't
Insomniac
Microsoft own it?
I thought Insomniac owned it.
I don't know because I don't know. I don't know.
I
Or
don't
no,
know.
they may have just funded it.
Yeah.
I swore that they owned it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Because I remember, because we all remember that first trailer when they pretty much went right at Call of Duty.
Which
They
is
went
funny.
right at them. And I was like, that's a mistake. And
It was funny though.
yeah, it was funny. It was a hilarious trailer. But I'm like, this ain't gonna go over well with the
Call of Duty fan.
with the base that you're on of the system you're on. So you might not want to do that.
Yo, be more. You ain't right for that. I'm gonna need you to give them a little bit more than 10, sir.
Per Wikipedia, Microsoft is still the publisher. So
okay.
Insomniac didn't publish this game. But it was Insomniac and Blind Squirrel that published that game.
That's
on
a
both
hell of a
PC
name.
and
Blind
Xbox.
Squirrel.
Yeah. So that was their Insomniac engine. I just don't know what the details are on that as far as who owns, because if Insomniac owns the engine, then they could kind of still hold the game hostage with or without Microsoft's authority. Yeah. So Microsoft says, "Hey, look, we want to port this to this," and they're like, "Well, not using our engine, you ain't." And then it's a whole thing because at that point Insomniac's asking for money.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not going to put it on the Switch, why won't Sony just say, "Okay, well, we'll just port it to our platform"?
Because nobody would play it.
Yeah. Oh, you said Sony owns the IP now? Oh, Jesus, that's strange.
Nobody would play it because even if
Sony
they went
owns
to,
Sunset Overdrive,
because they could run that back with a 2
'Cause they
and
own
then make some
Insomniac.
adjustments here and there. Yeah, because they own Insomniac now. But
But
it's like,
Exodia, yes, I do want the smoke. I want all of it. Because these motherfuckers in this industry be listening to me and then doing what I say should be done, but they ain't paying me shit. So I want the smoke.
But yeah, Conquer as well. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if I am Phil Spencer and I am looking at what I actually have, I'm not trying to buy. I don't need to buy nobody. I done bought enough damn. We done bought enough.
Yeah, you done bought enough.
We've acquired enough. Now y'all finna start working on these rare games. Like I said, every while y'all don't know what that is. We should have never did that video. Y'all working on Jet Force Gemini. Perfect Dark is getting priority. Perfect Dark is getting priority at this point.
I am worried about Perfect Dark because I have a feeling they're trying to make it this large game where it does not have to be.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be that. It should be
follow the charm it originally had.
You can have your online because we know Microsoft is about that online life, but this don't need to be this ain't Halo. This don't need to be that.
Hey, unfortunately, that's the route. Everybody swinging with haymakers, bro.
Yeah,
like
you ain't got to swing with no haymakers.
The fact that like I was surprised we even saw a Hi-Fi Rush. Like Hi-Fi Rush came out of nowhere and then it dropped. Like that was a good game. But yeah, I mean, when you talk about Conquer as well, do you even think they could pull the Conquer off?
No,
I don't think so.
You would
Not
have
with the current rare. No.
You would have to have a team. Because Nintendo let them do what they wanted to do.
Right.
And they trusted them and let them did it. And it worked. You would
if you think about it, Conquer is just a collection of mini games.
Yeah.
And they're just spoofing popular media.
Yeah. It's a parody game, basically.
Literally, Conquer is Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's all you got to think about. Conquer is Deadpool.
and so you can do it, but you have to be able to make it. You have to be able to make it funny. You have to not hand tie them.
Right. You can't say like, okay, now we got to dump it back because Xbox even did it when they did the Reloaded, which was kind of weird.
Which was stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
But I've noticed that for a kiddie company, Nintendo don't really stifle people when they want to do something. Like they didn't stifle No More Heroes at all.
No,
they didn't stifle Bayonetta at all.
Yeah, BMX one is crazy.
They never did. But Sony and Microsoft, they tend to censor stuff a lot.
And I don't understand why. I really don't, because I mean, even with Nintendo, people say kiddie, but they're just family friendly. Yeah, but ultimately,
they have. I will put it like this: out of everybody, I don't think anybody that's in the game community would say I'm lying. Nintendo actually has the more variety as far as games are concerned than anybody else.
Honestly, I think because of that right there, that's the only time Nintendo Japan actually listens to Nintendo of America. Because when you got situations with porting certain games, certain stuff is acceptable in Japan that isn't acceptable here.
Right.
Like
exactly.
You got a minor in a Xenoblade Chronicles X game. She can't be wearing a bikini.
Right.
In North America. Like, nah, that's not, we don't play that over here. So you have to tone down over here. But that's the only thing you tone down. The rest of them girls will have naked in that game. So but as long as you're an adult, like that's okay.
But in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, people had a issue with it.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, like, what are you?
But then in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, y'all love. I'm confused. So
baby Pura is not dressed like a stripper. Adult Pura is.
People still salty that Rex got 3 women in Xenoblade Chronicles. So
I mean, hey man, Giga Chad Rex on
that man, all the W's.
All the W's. All right, so. We're gonna call it a night because we're about to hit 2 hours, and I did not.
Shit!
Nah, this is Shadowcast. Nah,
man, don't make me act up in front of the company. All right, so thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you Shadow for doing the dual coach, however they call it.
Well, thing. I was
about to say Andre got his up too. Yeah.
Oh, you got yours up too? Okay, cool.
Awesome. Tri-stream. Let's go.
Tri-stream. So yeah.
3-way.
Yeah, thanks for the. I didn't say it like that.
I was waiting for it.
He was waiting for the opportunity to say that.
I was waiting.
So yeah, thank you for everybody in the chat. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the other good stuff. Andre, anything you want to pimp out?
Well, obviously my Sean for Street Fighter 6 campaign that I am pushing
heavy.
we 3.5 weeks in. We gonna keep going strong until Capcom fucking realize what they supposed to do.
You'll get it with Street Fighter 6 Ultimate.
Hey, look, as long as it's in the number 6, I'm fine. I know Capcom does multiple editions.
Yep.
If they try to go to 7, I'm stabbing somebody. Just play it. Don't take that part serious.
John will be in the next Smash Bros. Before he be in Street Fighter.
At that point, they be like, "Nah, you gonna nah, we ain't put him in no more."
All right, Jack, what you got?
Nothing really, man. Like honestly, just been chilling, especially with work and everything. But
check out the album because the album is fine.
Oh yeah. That is a thing, isn't it? But but yeah. So, bro, like I do so much music, I don't even like. I drop it and then I keep moving, and like I said, TJ will tell you the same thing. Like you drop it and you just keep pushing. So, but yeah, I mean, hopefully I'll have something else too, music wise. It just depends on schedules. Like my brother and my dad are supposed to be here in July, so supposed to rent out an Airbnb and just have a whole weekend. There's a whole session going. So trying to get Vito involved. He sounded like he want to get back on it. And so I'm gonna see if Vito want to get back on something. But yeah, man, that's about it as far as gaming is concerned. I don't know. Are we planning to do anything with AEW?
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Yeah,
all right,
we gotta figure out.
Yeah,
did we nail down a platform yet, or
Switch? I know I'm getting
on Switch. I'm getting on Switch.
Yeah.
So okay. I'm getting mine on Switch. Arcade game. I gotta have it on Switch.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe. Make sure send it out to the masses. Let them know we here, and appreciate everybody that shows up here. Yeah, damn near every week, man. Appreciate y'all.
We really do appreciate it. Shadow.
Man, nothing. My channel is officially alive now thanks to this triple threat stream we got going on here. I don't.
Don't.
We'll
No.
stop with the innuendo. I guess.
No, you know what this is, sir.
Combo breaker. Yeah, it's a whole nother thing. We might need a collab actually. We can get do a couple tracks together, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Nah, not much. I planned a couple of uploads and stuff, but I'm in the middle of a project right now that I'm looking at right now. I want to get my my streams together as far as like playing older games and stuff like that. So I'm trying to update where my old consoles are. They're kind of sitting on an old console. Like they used to have a little open space where you put your hi-fi stuff on, like your stereo equipment and all that. It used to sit open. That thing is trash and it was horrible. So I have a cabinet that I'm going to be replacing and putting all my consoles in for there. And then light it up and all that kind of stuff, make it look cute. Do a little video for my gaming space and all that so you guys can see how all that looks or whatever. Do one of those little videos. And then I'll start uploading more content, hopefully with all the old school consoles, N64, TurboGrafx 16, my Atari 2600, which has been going for a very long time. I'm going to try to upload some footage of that because I love Crystal Castles. I don't care what any of y'all say. That's my game for that system, and I will rep that until I die.
Gotcha.
But that's pretty much what I have going on. So that's been the hold up for a long time. Me doing that, getting the furniture ready, modifying everything, and cleaning up some really old consoles that have a lot of stuff inside of them that I cannot recognize. So once I clear all that up, give them new contact paste and all the other kind of stuff and whatnot, so the CPUs aren't running hot. I'll update all that, and then my channel will officially be undead, I guess. So other than that, you play games to have fun or to impress other people.
Impress other people.
Impress other people.
Like, is this really a question?
Right. Get it together, Shadow. Shit. Thought you knew us.
Yeah, they gotta impress other people.
First of all,
Gamer score.
First of all, glory to Master KOHGA. Always glory to Master KOHGA. But well, gonna be playing AEW Fight Forever this week sometime. Probably Friday,
28th.
Saturday.
And we get a day early, right?
Yeah, we get a day early. So we'll probably be doing that. Check the channel. I have been playing Astral Chain and Scarlet Nexus, and I'll probably keep doing that this
Astral
week.
Chain game.
Yeah. So got back on it, and I'm like, you know what? This game is way too much fun. So I will probably be playing some more of that as well. Fresh Take is back. Me and Vicky did the first episode of Secret Invasion. So you can check that out on the channel as well. We'll be back Sundays at either 10 or 11 a.m. I can't remember which one we wanted to go with. I got to talk to her about that. But we'll be doing that on Sundays because I think Ahsoka is after this. So we'll be alternating back and forth between Star Wars and the Marvel stuff for Fresh Take reviews on Sunday morning. So yeah, that's what I got. We will see you guys. Wait a minute. Next week is July 4th, ain't it?
Is it?
Next Sunday?
Next week. Yep.
Shoot. Okay. Check the community tab. We'll keep you updated on if we're gonna
next
have
Sunday is
tonight.
July 2nd.
Yeah, that's July 2nd. So yeah.
It's close.
It's close. So check the community tab on YouTube and we'll let you know if what we're gonna be doing. Yeah, we'll let you know.
I'll barbecue and show the video to Fat and Super.
Don't do that, man.
Yeah.
Don't start wrong with that. But once again, everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you for commenting. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate the love. Don't forget to check us out and make sure we subscribe to everybody. And we will see you guys later this week because we will be playing AEW Fight Forever. So we will see you guys later this week. So peace out, people. Have a lovely rest of the evening.
Peace.
Peace.